Open world games have become a massively important part of the gaming community, and you'd be surprised to find out that such games have existed for over 40 years. Looking back, you'll see that these games have come a long way. With advances in technology, game design, and storytelling, these virtual worlds have gotten exceptionally lifelike. These worlds are often living, breathing entities, influenced by the player's actions, further blurring the line between fiction and reality. So I'll be diving into 20 of the best open world games you can play to give you an idea of wondrous experiences these immersive worlds have in store for you. Ever wondered what it would be like exploring a world by George R.R. Martin, the creator of the Song of Ice and Fire? You don't happen to wonder any longer, as you can see the depth of his stories coupled with the difficulty of the Souls games to give us Elden Ring. Elden Ring is an open-world action RPG that expands on the dark fantasy themes of From Software's previous games. In the lands between, players become the Tarnished, with a mission to become the new Elden Lord. Well, if you can take the massive levels of beating that come with it, the story is cryptic yet deeply layered, offering lore-rich environments and an expansive world filled with grotesque creatures, warring factions, and fallen demigods. The best part about this game is that it is a completely open world with vast levels of freedom of exploration. That factor is good and bad at the same time, since you never know if the thing you're facing is going to off you in 5 hits or 1. Unlike past Souls games, it fully embraces an open world structure, allowing players to explore at their own pace. The expansive terrains adorned with concealed dungeons, majestic castles, and haunting subterranean cities evoke a feeling of exploration, seldom experienced in contemporary gaming. The game constantly keeps you alert, and the boss fights are truly stunning, word for word. If you can get over the difficulty, you'll find that Elden Ring is a brilliant work that transforms open-world RPGs. Then comes an open-world RPG that's more forgiving, but no less intense. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. The game is an open-world RPG created by CD Projekt Red, based on Andrzej Sapkowski's fantasy novels. Players are handed the role of Geralt of Rivia, a badass witcher on a quest to find his adopted daughter named Ciri. All the while, he's chased by the Wild Hunt. The game's storyline is filled with diverse choices with complex emotions behind them, turning this game into one of the most engaging RPG experiences ever. The exceptional storytelling and world building are what make The Witcher 3 remarkable. The game includes a vast open world brimming with distinctive characters, each possessing their own narratives, struggles, and missions. Each side quest is unique, and numerous ones have repercussions that influence the surrounding environment. The game is the third in the Witcher series, but is widely renowned as the best part. Even without prior knowledge, the game does a good job of introducing key characters and events. Graphically, it is stunning to look at. It has detailed environments and gorgeous character models, along with the breathtaking landscapes that you'd enjoy simply exploring. If you want an expansive world with some amazing storytelling, this is definitely the game you should dive into. Ever wondered what it would be like to explore the vast ocean? Sounds like a pretty scary thing for me personally, but there's no question that there's a certain sense of mystery and wonder that makes the idea so attractive. Now imagine venturing down such an ocean on an alien planet, and you'd end up with Subnautica. The game is an open-world survival game set in the ocean planet 4546b. Players are a lone survivor of the Aurora, a spacecraft that crashes into an uncharted aquatic world. The primary objective is survival. You have to gather resources, manage hunger and thirst, and unravel the planet's mysteries. As you explore the game, you'll learn more about the story through abandoned logs, alien facilities, and the environment in general. The game reveals a haunting tale that's best left for you to experience firsthand. What sets Subnautica's open world apart is that it's based mostly underwater. The ocean world is beautiful and terrifying at the same time. With its bioluminescent reefs, towering kelp forests, and abyssal trenches, you never really know what's hiding in the corners, which may possibly be some pretty deadly predators. The sense of isolation is enhanced by an atmospheric soundtrack and the absence of traditional combat. Instead of fighting, survival depends on exploration, crafting, and strategic resource management. Building habitats, piloting submarines, and discovering alien ruins make every dive feel like an adventure. Although the game seems to have limited replayability once the story is complete, as the mystery is a core driver of the experience, it's still a world that you should definitely explore firsthand without any spoilers. Coming out of the ocean, let's take our journey back on land with the Ghost of Tsushima. The game is set at the time when the Mongols invaded Japan in 1274. Here, you're given charge of Jin Sakai, a samurai warrior. But when tragedy strikes, he has to abandon his code of honors to deal with the cunning Mongols. We get to see Jin deal with his inner conflict as he has to do things that aren't in line with the code he had spent his life following. The greatest part of the game, though, are its amazing visuals. Ghost of Tsushima is like a gorgeous painting, with its beautiful landscapes and dynamic weather that complements every inch of the game. The HUD is minimalistic too, so that it doesn't distract the player from taking in the beauty of their surroundings. Combat is fluid and satisfying, blending precise swordplay with stealth mechanics. And the standoff duels are cinematic and look awesome whenever you actually pull them off. Although some things like clearing enemy camps or collecting resources seem kinda repetitive, the game still keeps you hooked with its beauty. The breathtaking aesthetics, engaging combat, and emotional narrative, along with the fact that you're a samurai, make this game one you shouldn't miss. The next game on this list is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. This game isn't just for all the Tolkien fans, but rather, it's for anyone who happens to be a fan of well-made fantasy action adventures. Just like me, players get to control Talion, a Gondorian ranger whose family is brutally murdered by the evil Sauron's forces. Talion escapes his fate when the wraith of the elf lord Celebrimbor merges with him and grants him supernatural abilities. The two then begin their quest of dismantling Sauron's army from within by targeting the Uruk hierarchy of Mordor. The game also introduced the Nemesis system, which is definitely the feature that stands out the most. The system dynamically generates unique enemies who have different personalities, strengths, and weaknesses. Orcs remember past encounters, adapt to player strategies, and even hold grudges. This creates personalized rivalries that add depth to every battle. The fluid combat system, inspired by the Arkham series, allows for seamless transitions between brutal swordplay, stealth assassinations, and wraith powers. The mechanics of parkour allow for fluid and engaging movement through the grim terrains of Mordor, particularly when there's an expansive world to discover. Although the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, enhances the Nemesis system, the original version continues to be quite iconic. The game's lore fits well within Tolkien's universe, but some purists might not appreciate the alterations made for the game's creation. But the game does a pretty good job at showing how grim and oppressive Mordor can be, while providing some awesome gameplay to enjoy. Anyone who enjoys gaming has certainly come across Minecraft at some time or another. This is the sandbox game that transformed the genre with its straightforward yet infinitely inventive elements. Players are placed into a blocky, procedurally generated world without defined objectives, enabling them to craft, build, explore, and survive according to their own preferences. This game isn't heavy on the lore, but what makes it attractive is that what you can build is only limited by your imagination. In survival mode, you have to gather resources, manage hunger, and deal with the monsters scattered around. In creative mode, you basically have access to unlimited resources in flight, getting to create anything you want. The game's greatest strength is how flexible it is. Anyone can play the game and can construct pretty much anything, from simple homes to huge cities. You can even make functional computers or entire recreations of real-world landmarks. Every time you reset, you can choose to go into a randomly generated map, which makes the open-world possibilities virtually limitless. It might seem a bit difficult to get into for newcomers, but a few explanations and walkthroughs later, you'll get to enjoy most of what the game has to offer.
What does that outfit?
Ever wondered what it would be like to play as one of the most popular superheroes in the world? Welcome to Batman: Arkham City. This open-world action-adventure game is the critically acclaimed sequel to Batman: Arkham Asylum. The game takes place in a large part of Gotham City as Batman tries to take down an evil plan by Hugo Strange. The story gets deeper when iconic villains like Joker, Two-Face, and Ra's al Ghul get involved. This creates a rich story filled with a bunch of dark twists and some heavy moral dilemmas. The game does a great job of blending the immersive world with some on-point, story-driven gameplay. Gotham streets have thugs patrolling alleys and supervillains with big territories, all waiting for you to punch them in the face as the Caped Crusader. The free-flow combat system remains one of the best in action games. It's fluid, intuitive, and satisfying as Batman chains attacks, counters, and gadgets seamlessly. One of Arkham City's best parts is how it displays its atmosphere. The game captures the essence of Gotham perfectly, with its oppressive skyline, neon-lit streets, and haunting score. So if you want to be Batman and do whatever you want in a big open world, you better pick up a copy of this game.
This is just the beginning.
Next is Stranding. This game tells the story of a post-apocalyptic America that got wrecked by an incident which caused destructive beasts to roam around the planet. Players have to control Sam Porter Bridges, who's basically like a delivery guy walking around a place that could eat him up, quite literally. The storyline of the game is pretty complex as it goes through themes of loss, isolation, and the small and delicate bonds that unite humanity in such an inhumane world. Its narrative intertwines science fiction and surrealism in an engaging manner. In this game, which is often described as a walking simulator, you have to traverse dangerous landscapes with your cargo. You'll have to plan efficient routes, overcome environmental challenges, and deliver packages successfully. Combat takes a backseat to the strategic and meditative nature of traversal, and while walking on this landscape, you're given the breathtaking photorealistic environments to admire. You might not get to enjoy constant action, but the game is definitely a great and unique experience for those who properly dig their teeth into it. Let's take a break from full-on fantasy for just a tiny bit and head on over to the Wild West. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an open-world epic that puts you into the rugged boots of Arthur Morgan of the Van der Linde gang. The story is rich and emotional with the focus on its characters, exploring themes of honor, betrayal, and redemption. Arthur's complex arc, combined with the moral dilemmas he faces, creates one of the most compelling narratives in gaming. The game's greatest strength is its immersive realism. The world feels alive, from bustling towns and saloons to remote wilderness teeming with wildlife. Every NPC has unique routines and small details, and you'll notice that firsthand when Arthur's beard grows over time. The gunplay is satisfying, with weighty, deliberate mechanics that mirror the gritty realism of the setting. The hunting, crafting, and side activities are as engaging as the main story, offering countless hours of exploration. And who doesn't want to explore a gorgeous landscape while riding their horse? What stands out is how deep the storytelling and world-building of this sequel really is. It just does such a great job of adding more lore to the already built world. It even gives more information and context about characters like Dutch van der Linde and John Marston. The game can easily be defined as a cinematic and emotional masterpiece, which may have set a new standard for open-world games.
Okay, listen. I know where O'Driscoll's holed up, and you're right.
Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is sequel to Breath of the Wild and something fans were excitedly waiting for. Set once again in the Kingdom of Hyrule, the game follows Link as he faces a new ancient evil threatening the land. But this time, we get to learn more about Hyrule, like its lost civilizations and hidden realms. The story is more immersive, weaving together the fates of familiar characters like Zelda while introducing new mysteries. What makes the game exceptional is its evolution of open-world gameplay. The freedom to explore is unmatched, with new verticality mechanics allowing Link to traverse sky islands, underground caverns, and floating structures. The introduction of new abilities like manipulating time and fusing objects adds layers of creativity to both combat and puzzle solving. The world feels alive. There's dynamic weather, ecosystems, and an impressive physics engine that encourages a bunch of experimentation. And the sense of discovery you'll have will drive you to come back to it again and again. Whether it's stumbling upon a hidden shrine, uncovering ancient technology, or crafting unique weapons, every corner of Hyrule offers something new. And trust me, this is a world you need to explore. With Grand Theft Auto 6 in the title, I'd be hard-pressed not to mention Grand Theft Auto 5. This open-world action-adventure game is set in the city of Los Santos and its surrounding countryside. The game has 3 protagonists to play as: Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. And each of these guys has completely different personalities. Despite all that, they seem to be tied together through a mix of situations like heists and even betrayals. It's like watching someone pursue the American dream in the worst ways possible. But that just adds more charm to the darkly humorous story and makes the characters and moments more memorable. What makes GTA 5 great, though, is how free it makes you feel. You can switch between any of the 3 characters without a hitch and get to experience the game with their unique abilities and perspectives. It ends up adding a lot of depth to the story. And you can also lounge around and do stuff like exploring the massive world, crash a car into a building, or get into the stock market. You can even go hunting if you want. So yay, you can run over a whole bunch of people in your free time, but you definitely have more stuff to do. But the standout feature by far is GTA Online, the game's multiplayer mode. The mode has literally turned into a world of its own with almost endless content. So while you're waiting for GTA 6, you can just dive into the GTA 5 again and scratch that itch for a bit longer. But if you want to go back to some good old fantasy, I present The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. This open-world RPG is in the huge, snowy land called Skyrim, which is a part of the continent of Tamriel. Here you'll become the Dragonborn, the prophesied hero who can absorb the souls of dragons and shout things off a cliff. How much fun is that? Although the main story revolves around stopping Alduin, an ancient dragon destined to destroy the world, you can just not do that and go around wreaking havoc or being a hero. And that's what truly defines Skyrim, its freedom. Players can choose to become noble warriors, sneaky assassins, powerful mages, or dagger makers. Skyrim has such a big world with stories you can spend hours reading. Every environment has some info or beast in store. You can go around doing numerous quests in mountains and forests and huge cities. The freedom to shape your character's story is unparalleled, with numerous factions that you can join. And if you're bored of that, then you can dive into the mods. And boy, is the modding community insane. You can even make the already gorgeous world look even better. And the gameplay options are endless. But even without all the extra stuff, the sense of adventure and discovery in the base game is in a league of its own where every journey feels unique. So if you want a story all for yourself, give the game a try. And thank me later.
Okay, got it.
Up next is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. This open-world game focused on stealth and action was directed by Hideo Kojima. Set in 1984, players control the badass Venom Snake as he builds an army of mercenaries to seek revenge against those who destroyed his previous organization. The game lets you do whatever you want in the way you approach missions. You can go in guns blazing, or you can choose to sneak around and get creative with your tactics. The environments also have a whole bunch of neatly designed factors like dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and even AI that adapts to the player's strategies. The Fulton extraction system, allowing players to recruit soldiers, animals, and even vehicles. This adds a unique layer to base building mechanics at Mother Base. The game also offers memorable boss encounters and hidden story details that reward exploration. Though the story may taper off a bit at some points, the gameplay is definitely a full 5 stars in my books.
You're on your own.
Then we have a game that is both gorgeous and unique. Horizon Zero Dawn is an action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic future where robotic creatures roam the land. Humans are all gathered up in tribes, and players get to explore this using Aloy. This skilled hunter/outcast goes on a journey to find out her origins and figure out how civilization fell to this point. The story offers a refreshing take on the post-apocalyptic genre. The contrast of a primitive tribal culture against advanced robotic wildlife creates an aesthetic unlike any other game. Combat is dynamic, and the thrill of taking down towering machines like Thunderjaws and Stormbirds is both challenging and rewarding. And the world is just stunning. Not to mention the fact that it has one of the best female protagonists in gaming. Aloy's character is so much fun to play with, especially because of how curious and determined she is. The lore, discovered through audio logs, ancient ruins, and holographic remnants of the old world, adds depth to the setting, and you can explore all that on your own time. This adaptation of a post-apocalyptic world is truly amazing.
A world touched by magic.
Now let's talk about another open-world game you should play that is the sequel to the cult classic Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma 2 has a world filled with some awesome mythical creatures and detailed ancient ruins and kingdoms. Here, players once again assume the role of the Arisen, a person who has their heart stolen by a dragon of all things. Sounds weird to first-timers, but the combat is sure to hook you in. The game offers a fluid, fast-paced combat experience where players can climb massive creatures like griffins, cyclopes, and hydras to target weak points in real-time battles. Then there's the pawn system, where players recruit AI-controlled companions. The entire thing adds a strategic layer, as these AI-driven allies learn from both your gameplay and the experiences of others online. And they can get into some pretty silly situations at times, but that just adds more charm to the game. Though it is different from the previous game, the expansive dark fantasy world we are in is just as full of hidden treasures and unbeaten paths to wander down. And you'll certainly feel braver once you walk the path of the Arisen.
And looked upon as a champion.
Most of you must have heard of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and the game we're pointing out is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Once you grab this title, you'll be diving into ancient Greece during the Peloponnesian War, head first into an amazing open-world experience. Players choose between two protagonists, Alexios or Cassandra, mercenaries with a lineage connected to the first civilization. The story follows their journey as they navigate the conflict between Athens and Sparta. What sets Odyssey apart is its massive, beautifully crafted world. The game does a great job at bringing ancient Greece to life with breathtaking detail. The naval exploration and combat return and allow players to command their own ship, recruit crew members, and engage in epic sea battles. The RPG elements are especially well thought out, as you can get different endings based on your dialogue choices and what you do in the world. We might not be able to control everything in life, but this game should help experience the ending you want within it at the very least. Let's take a 180-degree turn from ancient Greece and explore a futuristic dystopian metropolis that's called Cyberpunk 2077. Here you play as V, who's a mercenary that has to go around and deal with the troubles of a place that has an unhealthy amount of criminals, all to become immortal by using a stolen piece of revolutionary tech. The narrative is deeply personal, intertwined with the enigmatic digital ghost of rocker revolutionary Johnny Silverhand. You're accompanied by Keanu Reeves. How cool is that? Despite the initial issues at launch, Cyberpunk 2077 was patched up and healed and has become a compelling RPG with minimal bugs. What makes it such a pleasure to explore is that it has a really detailed urban area with some really unique characters. You have everything from huge skyscrapers to some shady alleyways, with each place offering both danger and rewards. The game has deep role-playing mechanics that let you shape your character's skills however you want, and you can even influence endings based on whatever you chose to do throughout the entire story. It really lets you experience the game as if you were personally there and takes the immersion bit to a whole new level. So if you're looking for something dystopian yet futuristic, this open-world RPG is for you.
Gotta ask you something. What does it matter if everyone else is dead?
I'm sure most of you have imagined a post-apocalyptic world with slow-moving zombies, and you need to think of ways to survive. But imagine what it would be like if the zombies were fast. Well, you don't need to imagine much if you step into the shoes of Deacon. 2 years after a global pandemic has turned much of humanity into aggressive, zombie-like creatures known as freakers. This rugged biker has to survive as a bounty hunter while searching for answers about his missing wife, Sarah. The story explores themes of loss, survival, and the enduring bonds of friendship amidst a collapsing world. The best part about the game is that the zombies feel like they really live in the ecosystem of the game. Their reactions change depending on whether you make too much noise or whether it's raining, or even based on what time of the day it is. It really makes you stay aware of what's happening in the environment unless you want to end up zombie food. You also get to ride a motorcycle, which serves as both Deacon's lifeline and a symbol of his connection to his past. The game isn't mindless like the zombies either, as the story is surprisingly heartfelt. With strong character development and emotional moments, it'll be a journey that may be worth your time, as long as you get past the repetitive missions. Nearing the end of this list, we have Fallout 4. This game takes place in the ruins of Boston, after a nuclear war has pretty much devastated the entire world. Players have to control the sole survivor, emerging from Vault 111 over 200 years after the bombs fell. The story then has you look for your kidnapped son, but all the while, you're free to do whatever you want and make your own path, which is basically the soul of most of the Fallout games. The world has some solid details and places that you can explore, like crumbling cities and wastelands and even underground vaults and secret labs. The game has some pretty good customization options for your character, ranging from combat abilities to dialogue. You can even make your own community of settlers as long as you deal with all the raiders and mutants who seem to have nothing better to do than attack them. This mechanic, combined with the rich environmental storytelling and diverse side quests, creates an immersive post-apocalyptic experience. All in all, it's a game that you can easily place on your list. And we'll be ending this list with Hogwarts Legacy. Every Potterhead must have dreamed about one day waking up and being invited to Hogwarts. Well, you don't need to look any further, as this RPG will let you experience precisely that by stepping into the role of a student that gets accepted into Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The story follows the hero's connection with ancient magic and ends up with you having to deal with a bunch of dark wizards, goblins, and even looking for some forgotten magical secrets. You can attend classes like a good student, learn some new spells, brew potions, and explore the gorgeous world even beyond the castle grounds. What makes Hogwarts Legacy magical is the immersive recreation of Hogwarts and its surrounding areas. The castle has so much to explore that it feels alive. Despite being a bit repetitive at times, the game does a great job at showing off the true magic of the wizarding world. And there you have it. Some of the most incredible games that offer unforgettable adventures, breathtaking worlds, and epic stories. Have you played any of the games from this list? Or maybe you've got a personal favorite we didn't mention? Let us know your top picks in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more gaming content. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.